Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Keto Girl. And today you're in for a treat. We have amazing guest, Susan Bratton, who is the intimacy wellness expert. She has authored 34 books, including Sexual Soulmates. Susan is a spokesperson and advocate for sexual wellness, passionate lovemaking, and bedroom communication skills. She's a phenomenon in the world of pleasure and connection. So Susan was super kind and said she would hook my listeners up to an amazing guide called 7 Stimulating Sex Positions. And if you want to get that, head on over to my Instagram page at The High Energy Girl. Send me a private message with the words 7 and I will hook you up. We had a great chat and I cannot wait for you to meet Susan. So let's go say hello. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Keto Girl. And I'm super excited to speak with our amazing guest today, Susan Bratton. So hey, Susan, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Oh my gosh, Trace, we've got so much to talk about right now. Shit's going down and we're not going with it.
That is right. Totally agree with that. I was super excited to have you on the show today because you talk about one of my favorite topics that I don't talk about enough. So for the listeners that don't know you, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I am a California woman, CEO of my companies. I am the CEO of 2 companies. They're both in wellness. And the first is a publishing company that focuses on intimacy and sexual health and vitality. And I publish passionate lovemaking techniques and bedroom communication skills, online programs and books, downloadable, digitally delivered, kind of like the Kindle of lovemaking, if you will. And I kindle your fires. So my personal life media company has been around for about 15 years. And I like to say that our work transforms having sex into making love. And what we focus on is heart-connected, emotionally connected love-making techniques for couples who want to have their sex life keep getting better over time instead of swirling down the toilet. Because, as you know, because you're doing your immunity, series right now, sex is good for you. It's healthy. It keeps us young, feeling good about ourselves. It's such a wonderful circulatory event. We're flooded with good, love hormones, and it's such a great part of our health. But we need people who can help us keep it spicy, keep it fun, and understand how women's libido is very, very, very different than men's libido, and how the two can meet in the middle and have great quality, satisfying, intimate connection. So that's my one company. And then my other company is a fairly new company, and it's a supplement company because I am about holistic, regenerative, natural health. And I really love things that don't require you to be on pharmaceuticals. So I really like to give people all of the best health things they can do that are oriented toward their sexuality. So I have a supplement company with a libido vitamin and a product that is a supplement for blood flow, because you need blood flow for your brain, for your heart, and all your parts. And for women, we lose lubrication. And for men, they lose their erectile rigidity. And blood flow is the answer. And I have the only organic blood flow supplement in the world made from fruits and vegetables, not from, Chinese lab-made chemicals. God love them. So those are my 2 businesses. And I have a team. And I've been doing it for years and years and years. And I love teaching people how they can have a better sex life.
Awesome. I love it. I want to hear all the juicy details. You said a lot of little key words. So I've been married 30 years.
Oh, wow. I can't. You got married as a teen.
No, I got married when I was 24. And
Are you kidding? You look so young.
Oh, you're so nice. Thank you.
Oh, you really look good, Tracy.
Well, thank
You're
you.
amazing.
So, but the thing is that we've developed some bad habits through the years where I go to bed early and my husband goes to bed late. And there's like, when we built our home, our son's room is like right next to ours. And it's like, we have to freaking sneak it in. Like, we're talking about hiding in our bathroom. You know what I mean? It's like, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, I'm very interested in hearing how you would have people go from having sex to making love and how to
Yeah.
improve your libido at the, over 50. Like, I don't know how old you are, but when you hit 50, things kind of change, with the whole menopause and all that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm pushing 60, so I got you, girl.
no way.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
then.
Way, 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 way.
Well, you do not even, I didn't even think you were 50. So that's
I didn't think you were
amazing.
50. We're doing something right, Tracy. And you know what it is? It's good food, good exercise, all the things that make a difference, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And I always say to my clients, what's the difference between a grape and a raisin?
Uh-huh, water. I've got my water right here. We're both hydrating as we speak. I know. And I'll tell you, when you start becoming a raisin as you do age, hyaluronic acid is also very good. I have a protocol that I call my Skin Inspiration Protocol. I'll tell it to you really quickly since you talked about that. Every day, I take a tablespoon of cod liver oil because you need healthy fats, and half an avocado a day and a couple nuts isn't going to get you there. And I also take two different kinds of hyaluronic acid. I take a high molecular weight and a low molecular weight. The high molecular weight is good for your joint. It keeps them lubricated. If you're hearing any creaking as you go up and down on your squats, hyaluronic acid, high molecular weight is excellent. Like they even give it to racehorses and things like that. It's very, very good for the old joints. And then low molecular weight, which is a much smaller molecule, that hyaluronic acid is very, very good for topical and for taking in the mouth. And that's very good for intracellular hydration. The hyaluronic acid is what your body uses to hold the moisture in your cells. So, as your hormones decline, including growth hormone, which is the one that really, I mean, we think about estrogen as the thing that makes us wrinkled, but actually, growth hormone is the one that really accelerates thinning of tissue and wrinkling. And, they both fall off a cliff as you hit 40, really. When you hit 40, all your hormones start to go down. So I think the idea of putting topical stuff is great, but you have to hydrate from the inside out. So the oils, the essential fatty acids, and a vitamin E mixed tocopherol, like 700 IUs of vitamin E with the cod liver oil. You can get it flavored so it doesn't kind of repeat on you. And the hyaluronic acid are very, very good, as are any of those 5-seed, black seed, Styrian pumpkin oil, any kind of oils like that. So like always getting a wide variety of avocado oil, olive oil, the high good oils you really have to accelerate that when you start to hit 40, because if you wait until you hit 50, your skin just goes to heck in a handbasket.
Oh, yeah. I started the ketogenic diet when I was 50. And so that I think has made an improvement, just the higher fat intake. So
Yes,
that's cool. I didn't know that I thought HLA was only topical. I didn't know you could ingest it for the joints. That's a really good one.
you can.
Cool. So, what else? What other wisdom can you impart? I really want to talk dirty with you, girl. Like, I want to hear all the juicy details because I've never had a sexpert on the show.
Well, I guess sexuality is so vast and there's so many things. I think the best thing is, why don't you just ask me completely selfish questions that you want to know?
Okay.
Maybe issues that you're having. Maybe we could start with how you kind of feel like you have to sneak sex and it's hard with your son around. You want me to try to like solve a little bit of that problem for you?
Okay, everyone, you are getting all the juicy details of Tracy's life now. Let's go. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think first of all, how old is you have one son?
I have three, but one lives at home, 23.
And he's 23.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So this is a really easy thing, and that is you don't need to hide it. He is a grown-ass man. And it's really important to model a good sexual relationship in front of your children. And by modeling a good sexual relationship, what I mean is that if he hears you making love, it lets him know his parents still find each other attractive. And it actually, even if his initial hit is, oh, that's so disgusting, which is what kids' natural reaction is, because especially through the teen and early 20s, they are individuating. And so they pretty much think everything you do is stupid, and it's not your fault or theirs. It's actually the process of developing his own personality. So when he hears you making love, then even though his first reaction is it's disgusting, his subconscious reaction is very positive. And it's a relief to him that his family, his mother and his father, love each other and that they are going to stay together. Mm. It also lets him know that sex is natural and good and done by loving people. It also, what I hear most people say to me, men and women, people across the gender spectrum, is they're upset when they come from a family where no one touched anybody, no one talked, no one kissed, no one, showed or modeled any signs of physical affection. And so that, I think, is the first thing, is that if he hears you, it's good, not bad. Mm-hmm. So I want to give you the permission to go into your bedroom and lock the door. And sometimes, here's what we did. We just said, Dad's going to give Mom a massage now. If you need anything, knock on the door, but we'll be in the room for a few hours. And I remember when my husband's name is Tim. And he always starts off by giving me any kind of a full body massage I'd like to have, because sometimes I'm not really sure I actually want to have intercourse or even be sexual, but I'm always up for a massage. And so he understands that the seduction strategy with me is to just simply start touching my body and rubbing me without any expectation that it's going to end up in any kind of sex. And that 8 times out of 10 that it does. And the more that he touches me, the more sex he gets. So he increases his chances, because he wants sex all the time. He increases his chances, exponentially by just getting his hands on my body and getting me out of my head and into my body. Because estrogen makes us women really out of our heads. And it's hard for us to compartmentalize and just stop thinking about everything else and have sex. And we're so hormonally cyclical, even after menopause, that sometimes we want it, sometimes we don't. But what we really need is our man to just say, I've got the bedroom heat turned on, the candles are lit, the towels are on the bed, the coconut oil is warming in the sink, and I've got really nice music playing. I was thinking we could listen to some, Dido or whatever the heck you want to listen to, and I'll meet you in there in 10 minutes. And then in 5 minutes, he says, you've got 5 minutes to finish what you're doing and get in there. And so he makes me do it. And I think for a lot of women, they want their man to be like, yep, we're doing this now. Get your butt in there and lie down. I'm rubbing you. Because we can't stop doing the other things we're doing, the million other things we're doing. So he'll grab me by the hand and walk me in there. And then I'll be like, all right, you can rub me.
I can totally relate to that. Like just taking a hook and bringing you in.
Right. And every woman can relate to that. There are very few women who would say, oh no, I wouldn't like it if my partner did that. That is what we need. And that's actually what I teach men to do is men are so goal oriented that they say, hey babe, do you want to have sex? And we go, no, what? Like, I'm in the middle of something. Go away, right? And then he gets rejected because he's ready to have sex all the time. And we're so far away from that. And so if we teach our husband to do those things and that there isn't going to be any rejection if he doesn't expect sex, like they have to stop doing anything nice just to get sex from us. If he's just doing it for sex, then we won't do it. But if he's like, hey, worst case, I gave you a nice massage and then we cuddled. Best case, we had sex 8 out of 10 times. Them odds I'll go with because right now I'm not getting as much sex as I want. So it just tends to work out. And then what happens when he implements that program of if you want to start with a foot rub, babe, I'm going to rub your feet. If you've got a crook in your neck, I'm going to rub your neck. If your hands hurt from mousing, I'm going to rub your hands. If you've got a sciatica problem, I'm going to pull your leg out from your hip socket exactly how you like it when you lay down. And like whatever you need, he's going to do it. Then you start having more sex. And the more sex you have, the more sex you want as a woman. It's getting you like up on the horse for the ride. Once you start riding, you want to gallop. And so once you're doing that, then he has to keep it interesting. And that's where and this is very important in times of pandemics and quarantines, is having not just sex, but what I like to call erotic play dates. And so many couples don't have the sex they both want. They want more. Well, I'd like to have more sex with my husband. We just never quite get around to it. Is scheduling chunks of time that are not specific to intercourse because she's not ready for intercourse. So she's going to show up for that. That's the big offer. That's the testosterone end game. That's not what the woman necessarily wants to even be thinking about. So he can't make her big offers like that. But what he can do is say, I thought what we could do is we could have an erotic play date where I learn how to stroke your G-spot and I give you goddess spot massage and you just lie there and, guide me a little so that we learn how to do this together. Or I would like to try an expanded orgasm date with you. Or I was thinking it would be really fun if we try this guided visualization of erotic touch together. I found this audio and I think we should listen to it together and get naked and, just do this. Whatever it might be, there's a million things you can make up for erotic play dates. And if you're a couple that already is wanting to have more sex, then it could be, and you're not at that, you got to drag me into my turn on because I'm just not there. If you're past that and you're like, yeah, I'm always ready to go, but I'm bored to death with my husband, right? If it's that, then it's okay. Let's do some role playing, or let's learn a new sex technique, or let's have sex at a different place in the house, or let's try a new sex position. Like one of the free gifts that I give away is 7 stimulating sex positions. And I love that because they are sex positions that are focused on her erogenous zones, positions where he gets to stimulate multiple of her erogenous zones. And I had it all illustrated in these really cute illustrations. It's not dirty at all. It's, it's really cute. And so you could have 7 dates where each date you try one of those techniques, headboard daddy, chingalinga. I named them all kinds of crazy things. So something like that can be really fun. Just a new position, right? There's just so many things. Fantasy fantasy fishbowl is a really fun game. You guys both write down, 5 or 6 things you'd like to try, and you put them on little pieces of paper and then throw them into a fishbowl. And then you have your date, and one of you gets to pick out of the fishbowl, and whichever thing that is the thing you do, unless someone's like, oh, I don't really want to do that one. Can you throw that back in and let's pick another one? And then, of course we can, right? And so you pick the second one. Yeah, that sounds better, or he runs you a menu of 3 ideas. Hey, what do you think about if we do this, this, or this? And you're like, yeah, that one. That's the one I want to do, right? So it's this kind of a thing that keeps your lovemaking much more fun. Women need a lot of fun and slow warm up.
Wow. That's exciting because, yeah, it does. After 30 years of marriage, it's just like it feels the same old, same old. But yeah. I love the idea about the massage. We have a massage table. And now that everything's going to be closed, we always like to get reflexology on the weekends. Do you guys have that by you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we like to go do that. But now he's like, well, I guess we're just going to have to switch to trading massages instead.
Great. And I would recommend on your end, Tracy, that you learn how to give a Lingam massage. So the lingam and the yoni are the 2 Sanskrit words for the penis and the vulva. So his parts are the lingam and her parts are the yoni. And if you learn how to lay him down and give him a full body massage, as well as a lingam massage, that's something that you can give him that's really nice for him.
Is that in one of your books?
Well, we have one of my programs is called the Steamy Sex Ed Video Collection. I'll give it to you. And it's 200 heart-connected lovemaking techniques. And there's it's 8 DVDs or videos. And there's a whole DVD devoted to how to give him a lingam massage and or blended pleasure with some oral pleasuring and hand pleasuring. And for our male-bodied partners, they really need their lingam pleasured a lot, just touched. Like where we don't like him to go for our yoni right away, we like him to start from the outside in. We like him to stroke our hair and hold us and rub our back and not just grab us, right? And just that's too much until we're turned on. And then we want more, right? But for him, it's like, I call it the bullseye touch technique. Think about a bullseye where you've got the big rings and then they get smaller and smaller till you get to the center. Well, he wants you to touch the center right away. You want him to start at the outside circles and work his way in over time slowly. So that's just the difference between the masculine and feminine. And a lot of times we don't want to touch him right away because we're not turned on yet. So he doesn't get the same amount of touch that he craves from us. And so knowing that and laying him down on your massage table and just going right for it, like he would much rather you touch his lingam than his shoulders. So learning, and what's great about it is that when you learn 20 or 30 different techniques and you can just call on them at will from memory and you know exactly what to do, then you've got a lot of confidence and you can just go from technique to technique to technique, giving him a lot of variety of pleasuring. And he's just going to be like, where did you learn that? That was amazing. Can I book it? A weekly massage session with you.
Hey, that is a good way. I like it. I love all that. And then,
good.
So when you get to a certain age, okay, so like I'm 54, and when you get to a certain age, I've been in postmenopause for 10 years, so no period for 10 years. So you know what happens, right? The estrogen and everything changes. And then about 5 years ago, maybe 6, I went and I got those pellets that everybody's raving about. And yeah, they totally, boost your libido. But then I gained 13 pounds in 3 weeks without changing anything. So what are other ways that you can increase your libido without having to do something so drastic?
What pellets did you get? Like BioT testosterone or something?
I don't know. The doctor took a blood thing of me, tested my blood to see what I needed, and then they customized this pellet and they inject it in your hip. And so I don't know why I did it, just because everybody was saying I should. Everybody, like a lot of my friends down here do it. And so they're like, oh yeah, you got to try this, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't. It did increase libido, but the side effects weren't worth it. I'm like, forget it. 13 pounds? So
Yeah. I just don't know what it was that they put in you. So, there for many people across the gender spectrum, all gender, hormone replacement therapy is very, very effective, and not just for libido. It's generally helps with cognitive function. It's neuroprotective against Alzheimer's. It's cardiovascular protective. The bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, well tuned to the individual, a person would just love it. So whatever was tuned for you was tuned incorrectly. And I want to make sure that we're not scaring women away from bioidentical hormone replacement, because it can be extremely effective. So you had a bad situation, and it does, in fact, the reason I don't like pellets was exactly the issue you had, which was when you're messing around with hormones, whether those are thyroid hormones, cortisol, whatever it might be, even if you think you're within a range, everybody's responses are different, which is why I really like and use personally a biased estrogen, two kinds of estrogen. You want estriol and estradiol, but you don't want estrone, because that's the breast cancer one. So you want essentially to have more estradiol and estriol so that it pushes down estrone. And then I also take testosterone, which is bioidentical. And in both cases, those are compounded in a shea butter cream that I put intravaginally every day. And then I also take oxytocin in a gel intravaginally. Oxytocin is a very, very good hormone that's released when couples touch, skin to skin contact. It makes you feel safe. They call it the bonding hormone or the love chemical or what have you. And some people are naturally lower producers of oxytocin. So that can increase your feelings of safety and connection, which is very nice. And it also, between the estrogen and the oxytocin, can really help fluff up the vaginal mucosa again. So it's very, very good when it's done right. And then you can have a little more, have a little less when you're feeling like you need more or less. And testosterone for women, testosterone is the molecule of drive, including sex drive. And both men and women have it. Men have more than women. Men have estrogen less than women. We have different ratios. So having testosterone as a middle-aged and older woman keeps us not only interested in sex, but interested in life. It's vitality. It's can do. It's what gives you balls. When someone acts like a little old lady, and she's like a scaredy cat little old lady, and that could be a man or a woman. When you see men that look like little old women.
Oh, yeah.
It's because their testosterone's completely gone and they have more estrogen than testosterone. So for us women, having more testosterone actually makes us feel more confident, more able to deal with life. And then the third piece of hormone replacement that you need, which you may have not gotten because it's not the kind of thing that gets put in a pellet, is progesterone. And progesterone balances the estrogen. Everything is about ratios with hormone replacement. And so the estrogen and the progesterone work together to balance each other. And if all you got was a testosterone pellet or estrogen and testosterone and not the bi-est, but just estradiol or estriol, then what you were getting was a very poorly executed hormone replacement therapy plan. So I want people to know that it does take a little tweaking, and as you age, you have to monkey with your formulas a little bit, but that's what a good doctor, a naturopath, or an integrative doctor, or someone who's a hormone expert can really help you with.
Oh, cool. Do you have somebody locally?
Well, the woman that I like is Maria Claps, Claps. She does all her hormone replacement work is just done remotely. She does it for anyone who needs it, and she's not a doctor. She helps you navigate and educates you about how to do your own hormone replacement, because the doctor, a lot of times what you often need to do is you just need to tell your doctor what you want, and they need to place the orders for you. And she can teach you how to read your own Dutch test, which is the 4-point dried urine test, because mostly when you go to a doctor, they take a blood test. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between free hormone and bound hormone. And free hormone is what's rolling around in your body, utilized by your body. That's running around in your blood is what it's doing. And then your body's utilizing it. But if your hormones are all bound, then you don't have any hormones to utilize. So it could look in your blood test like you've got all these hormones, but they're not free. So, and the thing that's interesting about hormones is two things. And this comes back to my supplement company, which is interesting. The blood flow supplement that I sell, which is called Flow, that blood flow supplement helps move your hormones around in your body, gets them around. So your brain is signaling for hormone release. And it's able to tell how much hormone you have in your body. And the vitamin that I sell has plenty of things like boron in it. Boron is the mineral that you can't make yourself in your own body. So if you're not taking a good vitamin, a multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement, then you may be low in the thing that decouples the bound hormone to make it free. That's what the boron does. It removes the protein so it gets free in your blood so you can use the hormones that your body is making or that you're supplementing with. So it's all a very, it's kind of like an orchestrated thing, this whole idea. But if your doctor is giving you a blood test and then prescribing a hormone, they are the wrong doctor, because you have to do a 4-point dried urine test. You have to see the hormones you're currently metabolizing. And when you see when you pee 4 times over a 24-hour period, and they look at your hormone profile of your blood versus what your metabolites are, so they see how much is free hormones throughout your day. They're looking at, do you have enough cortisol in the morning? Are you getting up in a bad mood or a good mood? Are you having trouble getting up? What's going on with your thyroid hormones? Not just T3 and T4, which are not the answer as well. But all these things are the data points that a good hormone practitioner would look at to understand how many hormones you have being produced by your body that you can actually access and use. So we got into a little, hormone thing there, but so the question is, hormones are my hormones what's making me have a libido or not? In part, yes, but not all. It's actually a small part of it. Blood flow is as important as anything. If you don't have good blood flow to your genitals, you're going to have lack of lubrication. You might have UTI issues, bladder problems. You really need to have a lot of blood flow to your genitals. And then having your partner take their time and really get you engorged so that you get plenty of blood flow to all the tissue in your vulva. That's really important. So blood flow is as important as hormones. And that's both the blood flow that's naturally occurring with a nitric oxide supplement over 40, as well as your partner hands-on on your lady parts, massaging you and bringing blood into the clitoral structure. That's really important for your pleasure and not rushing you. And then a good gut microbiome so that you're actually making your hormones if you aren't pooping. I always say if the poops aren't coming out of your butt like a ballerina and spinning around in the toilet bowl and ta-da, like so easy, like sliding out like butter, then you don't have enough healthy fats in your system and your gut biome is messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And your vaginal biome is a part of your overall gut biome. So is your husband's prostate biome. So is your breast biome. We've got lots of biomes in our system. But if your central biome is disrupted, it's sending out disruption throughout your body. Your vagina biome's not going to be great if your gut's messed up. So pooping. Get up every morning and have a great, big, easy poop. If that's not happening, work there first, because if you're stopped up, then all the toxins are staying in your body. You're not breaking a sweat. You're not peeing. You're not hydrating. Tracy, you said that when we first started, hydration, good pooping, a little sweating a couple times a week. If that's in your sauna instead of where you go work out, that's perfectly fine. But getting a good sweat up is good. So you got the toxins going. You got the poop flowing, you got the pee moving, everything's moving. That's the first thing. Then how is your hormone profile? How's your thyroid? How's your cortisol? All that stuff is the next thing. And are you taking a good vitamin? Do you get enough minerals, boron, selenium, very important things that our body can't make. That's why people take daily vitamins, because our bodies don't make those things. Mm-hmm. So everything is one big ecosystem, just as you know it. And it all affects our libido because our sexual vitality is the same coin. It's the other side of the same coin of our overall vitality. Your libido is a direct reflection of your overall health. If you don't feel well, you don't have a libido. They just go hand in hand. So it's all about being that high energy girl.
You want to hear a funny story? I came up with this blog name like years ago, like maybe in 2013. I was working with a branding expert and she's like, go and ask everybody like 3 adjectives to describe you. And everybody said high energy. Everybody said that. So that's how it came out. But then I started getting into Qigong and Reiki and quantum physics and understanding that we're really energetic beings. And it was so crazy to see how high energy girl at first meant just like, woo, let's have fun. And then it was like, wow, now it's on a totally different plane.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
No, not at all, because I think that you are an energetic being and it was manifesting in the physical at first. And as you matured, you started to see the other aspects of energetic vibration and vibrancy. You know, it reminds me that one of the videos that I made a long time ago was called the tuning fork technique. And it's about how to give a woman incredible orgasmic pleasure. It's for men by showing her your pleasure. That when you show how much pleasure being with her is creating for you, when she can see you feeling her and feeling good and being turned on, then that resonates with her and it brings her energy higher and higher so that she has the best sex of her life because you're not holding back and masterminding the situation. You're actually in the situation and present with her. And it's like a tuning fork. When you take one tuning fork and you hit it on something and it starts to vibrate, and then you take the other tuning fork and you put it near that tuning fork, it starts to vibrate with the resonant energy of the first fork. That's what lovers do. And so many men are up in their heads thinking, I'm going to do her. And what they don't understand is that sex isn't about doing, it's about being. And when I teach guys that and they get out of that directed end game mind and they just let go into presence, then they give women the number 2 thing she wants. The number one thing she wants is that he's clean and well groomed.
Oh,
The number
yeah.
two thing is emotional connection. And that's the energy. And that's what we want. We don't want him to give us energy. We want to get our sexual energy from his sexual energy.
Oh, yeah. That totally makes sense. It's funny because we just got back from the Bahamas and
Nice.
it was our 30th anniversary celebration. It was the best vacation we've ever had. And we're like, we want to keep that alive as long as
Right.
we can before life gets in the way, you know? And the universe has kind of been pinging us about that because we get home, my dad passes away, and then see the coronavirus and everything. It's just like, oh my goodness, they're trying to bring our energy down. So with that said, though, what are some of the things? Because we talked a little bit off cuff about calming and finding peace in the chaos.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm so sorry about your dad's passing.
Oh, thank you.
It's very difficult. And I still have my mother and father, and I worry about losing them every day. And they are so precious to us. And so I'm really very sorry about that. I'm
Thank you.
very sorry. It's, you know,
He's
it's a passage.
he's been sick for a long time, so I mean, it wasn't like totally out of nowhere. He had cancer, and cancer pretty much sucks, as you know. And
Yeah.
so I hate to say this, but it was like he's not in pain anymore. So,
Yeah.
and I do believe in life after death, and I know he's still with us, and and so yeah, I'm at peace with it. It's kind of crazy to say, but
It's not
um,
crazy. It's completely rational. And everybody passes. You will, I will, we all will. And he'll always be in your heart. And he's
yeah,
in our hearts right now.
yeah. So yeah, it's weird how it's very peaceful. So
Good.
anyways, how can other
Yeah.
people find peace right now? Okay, so
Yeah.
for those of you listening, California just got shut down, as I'm sure probably your state did as well. That they want everybody basically on lockdown, just grocery stores, hospitals, any non, um, which to me is quite a shock. And we spoke about that previously, but it's like I just I'm just flabbergasted by this, and I'm really not sure what to think about it. So
Okay. So I want to say a few things about how we're all feeling right now. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a technique that is called the soulmate embrace. And you can download it at soulmateembrace.com. And it is an extraordinary, loving, and calming technique that creates more polarity in your relationship. If you're in a masculine feminine relationship, which the large majority are, and even if you're not, it is still a nurturing and being nurtured experience. But let's just talk about what's going on right now in the world. It's a global pandemic. It's a virus that we don't really have much insight on, but we do thank God for the Chinese and now the Italians and the Iranians who have been affected before will be affected. We do have some insights into what it's like, what the impacts will be, how to, if not stop it, slow it down by all doing our part to stay in. Because unfortunately, with this virus, we could have it and not know it as a healthy person and be out transferring it to others. So we all are going to do our part to stay in and and kick this virus to the ground. It's going to cause us a lot of fear. We're going to have a hard time thinking rationally because it's very, very stressful. We're worried about ourselves. We're worried about our families, our friends, our jobs, our friends who make their living being out and can't make their living staying in, from our hairdressers to our trainers and massage therapists and our Reiki experts and our reflexology people and, our restaurant servers and, just so many people are going to be affected. Now, our government's doing two things simultaneously. One seems like it's happening faster than the other because it's a little bit easier to begin to put in place, and those are some easing of financial issues for people. You and I both live in California, and the governor of California is working very diligently to make sure that the kids that are no longer going to school still have access to the food that they had, because that was the only food that they had. We've got a very large homeless population, and they're looking for ways to get them into shelter so they're not on the streets. We're looking at all of the people who can't take care of themselves, who don't have access to cooking themselves meals, and we're trying to make sure we take care of them. So we are all putting into place what we need to stay home. And they say 3 weeks. I think they'll extend it. That's just so people probably don't get too scared, because we don't know how long it's going to take for this virus to run its course in this first round, or what we're going to be able to do to contain it. So the best thing we can all do is stay home and support each other in every way possible. And that, I think, is going to bring us together as a country, because it is a war, and it's a war against an invading virus. So I think many, many good things are going to come out of this virus. So that's number one. You've got to feel all the feels. It's scary. You should be afraid. It's okay, but you must protect yourself and your family by staying in so the virus can't infect other people, because you don't know if you have it. That's the biggest issue. So that's what we're going to go through. And we're going to all need a lot of love and a lot of support and a lot of holding. And we're going to go through a lot together. But we've got social media, we've got podcasts, great podcasts like yours that will help people feel better and give them some ideas of things to do. We're going to learn how to cook better. We're going to slow down a bit, because once we get in and we sit down, we're all going to collapse from the stress that it's taken to quarantine. Mm-hmm. But then we'll come around and we'll get through it. And then we're going to get a little bored, and then we're going to find the things that delight us again. So we'll get there. And as we do, one of the most important things that you can possibly do is to hold and be held. And if you are quarantined alone, then that makes this next thing I'm going to say much more difficult, because you don't have someone to hold you. And so you are going to have to do some things to self-nurture, because if you don't have a partner, you still are ultimately responsible for yourself. And you know what? Even those of us with a partner, we are responsible for ourselves, our reactions, our way of being. So if you have a partner, here's what the soulmate embrace is. Soulmate embrace is a very lovely way to lie down together. I recommend that you are clothed in cotton pajamas, something comfortable. Let's just say it's the masculine and feminine to make it applicable to the widest variety of people. But if you are in a same-sex relationship, then everything I'm saying works. But I'm just going to go with the man and the woman. So he lies down on the bed in pajamas, and he puts his arm out, and she snuggles up against him and faces him and lies her head on his chest and shoulder. I like to put a pillow there instead of just my face on skin or t-shirt. It's softer. Put a pillow, and then he puts his arms around me behind my back. Sometimes I want it high across my shoulders. Sometimes I want it low across my waist. And I have him hold me, and I try and relax. And as I relax, what he's doing is he's thinking about how he can breathe in a way that, because his lungs are bigger than mine, that he can breathe in a little more shallow way, but make me breathe more deeply. So he is breathing me. He's leading my slowed breathing. I'm matching his breath, and he's breathing to get me to slow down. that really starts to calm the nervous system. And you're going to find that you get fidgety, you get itchy, or your legs feel like sewing machine legs, or you have an urge to jump out of the bed. That's your flight or fight mechanism. That's that sympathetic nervous system on freak out. Mm-hmm. That's all the stress you've been under. And when that happens, just take some more breaths because you need them. And as he's breathing you, he's thinking about how much he loves you, how much he loves to protect you, how you're his high energy girl, how he's got you, how he's right here, right now, holding you, and you are safe. Nothing's happening. Everything's good. It's going to be okay.
You're going to make me cry.
That's okay. Go ahead and cry because it has been freaking stressful. The stressiest of the stresses has been lately. And as he's holding you, you're going to start to let down. You're going to start to relax. But things are going to come up for you. You're going to feel some of the feelings. And you're going to need to say some things to him. I got to tell you, this has been really worrying me. And you're going to tell him what's worrying you. And he's going to go, okay, baby, I understand. That's reasonable for what we've been going through. And he's just going to be letting you get it out. He's not going to fix it. He's going to just listen. And he's going to pull you a little tighter. He's going to move his arms. If you get uncomfortable, you can wiggle around, but you stay right there with him. And as you get those things off your chest, you can relax to another level. It's going to keep breathing you. And then he's going to start stroking your hair. He's going to start at the top and stroke down, long strokes. He's going to stroke your back. He's going to smooth your skin and squeeze you. And as you relax a little bit more, when you start to relax, he's not going to let go. He's going to hold you just a little tighter. I got you, baby. Got you. We're going to get through this. Right? And so what's going to happen is then you're going to finally settle into some relaxation. Some tears could come up, which is happening for you. And Tracy, I'm not even holding you right now, baby, but it does happen. It's a perfectly natural reaction. And you know what? When tears come up, that's the sign. Your mouth might water as well. When the fluid starts to run, that's when you've let the armor down and you've started to relax. And that's the best sign of all. When you're crying, when your mouth is watering, you're starting to finally let go of the upset and get back to relaxation. And what you will probably find, if not the first time he holds you like that, but the second or third time that he holds you like that all of a sudden your mouth will water and he'll start kissing your face. He'll kiss your cheeks. He'll kiss your eyelids. He'll kiss your neck. He'll be holding you. And you'll think to yourself, oh God, I love this man. I love this man so much. And he is sexy. And you'll notice that you're getting some vaginal lubrication. And you'll be like, oh, I'm a little turned on. And then the kisses that he's giving you on your lips will feel good instead of too much. And as he kisses you lightly on your lips, baby, I love you. You're my angel. You know you are. You know I've got you. You're always safe with me, no matter what happens. Then all of a sudden you're going to be like, I'm going to stick my tongue in his mouth. And you're going to find yourself turned on by him because arousal comes from relaxation. The foundation of arousal is sitting in a warm bath of relaxation. If you try to get yourself turned on, or he tries to turn you on, again, going from that doing instead of being, it'll shut you back down. But if you and he just don't worry about sex, you just comfort each other and you comfort each other with the soulmate embrace, you will naturally find yourself drawn sexually to your partner again because he's not pushing you to have sex, because he's showing you that masculine polarity. He's got you in his safe container. He is your protector, your love, your man. And too often when we're out running around to Costco trying to get baked beans and tuna fish for a pandemic, we're an action team. We're two sides of the same coin of getting shit done, which has to get done. But how do you recover? How do you rejuvenate? You reconnect in love and support and polarity and connection.
Wow, that was really brilliant, I have to say.
Good.
That was lovely because, Tony Robbins, like, my basic human need is security. And I think it stems from childhood and blah, blah, blah. But that was really good. And I can totally see how everything can just snowball into that. That was awesome. So how, like, if we were to go and check you out and go and find all of your amazing stuff, all your content, all the books, everything you've done, where is your favorite starting point? Like, if we wanted to just be this big fan and start learning, where would you say to go first?
I would probably take you to betterlover.com, which goes to my YouTube channel, which I've got about 200 YouTube videos, and I've done things on almost everything you can think of. And if you just go to my main Better Lover channel, there's a little search box there. You could just search on anything you could think of, and there's probably videos about it. Or you can just scroll through and look at all the videos and the playlists and, all that stuff. So there's everything on there, and I think that's one of the best places to go. And then if you personally resonate with me, I have an Instagram channel, and that's really where I post more about, Susan Bratton, the human being, rather than Susan Bratton, the sexpert, wiggling my boobs on YouTube, which I also like. That's a big part of me, is the sexy sexpert. I like that part of who I am. But that's me in hair and makeup and sexy outfits. The real Susan Bratton's, it's at Instagram at my name, Susan Bratton. And it really depends on whether you just want full-on, great sex advice, or you also want the mom in me. You're the girlfriend in me.
I'm going to do both. How's that?
Oh, Tracy, thank you.
I am going to do both. And I'm going to have you come back on another time because I feel like I could just talk to you forever. So
it would be my pleasure. I would love to come back. One of the things that I've been working on are erotic play dates for couples, and that might be a fun thing to do in this crazy time, would be just to talk about more specifics about the things that couples can learn, because the couple that plays together stays together, especially in the bedroom. So what are some things that couples can do to learn new things together? That's a fun conversation.
Hey, well, maybe we need to do a 2-part series here then, girl, because that sounds like very appropriate timing. We've got 3 weeks of home, what is it called? Jail time or whatever. I can't remember what everybody's called. What are they calling it when you're stuck at home?
Isolation.
And then what is that joke we talked about earlier that was so relevant for your member?
Was it the quarantini or the kids that are going to be born?
Yeah, that one.
What did you call them? The kids that are going to be the coronials.
The coronials. Now that everybody's going to be stuck at home with no sports to watch, there's going to be a whole new generation called the coronials in 9 months.
Yeah, right. First, you have a couple of quarantinis, which is the martini you drink when you're quarantined. So you have your quarantinis for dinner, and then you go have sex and make your coronials.
So funny.
We'll get through this.
We will, and we'll live to tell about it.
Everything's going to be okay for almost all of us. But we are going to have some losses, and the way to limit the losses is to stay inside.
Yeah, I hear you. Awesome.
We'll do it.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been a pleasure. You are an absolute doll. You
are too. Thank you for having me. I'll look forward to our next.
Okay, sounds good. Oh my gosh. Now, wasn't that a very interesting and very fun show? I hope you learned a few things. And just in case you didn't, she actually has a super cool free gift for you. It is a little ebook called 5 Steamy Sex Techniques, and you can find that link on the show notes page at highenergygirl.com/show. Now, don't forget to head on over to Instagram and follow me at The High Energy Girl. Send me a private message to get the free guide, 7 Stimulating Sex Positions. Just message me 7. So if you like this show, please share it with a friend. And as always, please head on over to iTunes and give us a rating and review if you haven't already. If you have a great guest that you think would be a good fit for the show, please email me at tracy@highenergygirl.com. And thank you for listening. Please be well. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.